What is up? This is Miguel from Run With It, and we are back for another episode of Art Can Change the World. It's where we interview artists and those who work in the arts industry to hear stories about how art can actually change the world. And today we are here with IVØRY BLACK. So, Devin, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do in the arts world?
Well, I'm a singer-songwriter. I play music inside of venues in Kansas City.
Okay.
And I just do that full time. Like, that's all I do.
That's awesome, man. Got to live in the dream.
Basically, yeah.
I love it.
It's nice.
Well, and diving into this, it's our hope just to flesh out stories of how art impacts people. I'm always curious of how art really inspires the artists themselves. So, would you mind sharing a story with us of how art has impacted you personally?
Well, I'm a big movie buff, and I kind of consider visually, like, just the movie itself is art. And that, like, every time, like, I want to write a song, it's usually after a movie.
That's awesome.
Is that weird?
No, it's not weird at all.
It's like, you would think I'd listen to a song or something, and, like, do
I was
something
inspired
like
by
that.
World War Z, so...
Okay,
that's
so
really
yeah, you get it. Totally.
I feel you.
I love movies, so a lot of that, like, impacts me, because if I watch a sad movie, I'm going to, like, write a sad song.
Yeah.
And if I write a happy movie, I'll probably write another sad song, that's all I write. But no,
You're like, that was way too happy. We're going to bring this tone down.
Yeah, let's, keep it, chill. But usually, a lot of things that inspire me, like, artistically, is visual stuff. Like, audibly, things I'm too afraid to take something from other music, because I'm kind of like a sponge.
Yeah.
So I'll take a lot of stuff from my life and, like we were talking about personalities and stuff like that. And I just have to listen to my gut, and usually visually it helps me more.
So in a way, you kind of see the vision before you actually set it to something that orally you're going to communicate.
Same thing with dreams. Like, dreams really inspire me too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a particular dream that has really driven something that maybe is on your album?
It's more of a daydream.
Oh, okay.
I would say, like, because there is a concept to the new album. It's new album's the first one. My first ever one. Because you got the EP, and it's like, Ready, Get Set's playing out there. That was kind of a start.
Yeah.
Just to get going. But there's a purpose in art, and I find that a lot of the reason why people do art is to express how they feel about the world.
Absolutely.
Like, it was Nina Simone.
Mm-hmm.
She said something along the lines of, you have to let an artist reflect the times. And I feel like, I didn't feel obligated, but I feel like it's definitely something artists should do.
That's awesome.
So this next album has a lot of that in it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Like, even as we're going in and making demos now, that's kind of the conversation for us too. The climate has changed so much.
Seriously,
it feels like
it's
in
just
the
floating
last
around.
year.
It's just these little, progressive ideas for, like, the future of mankind are just, like, floating around.
And you can
People are just, like, grabbing there's one for me, and they fight over them. And that's, like, the nature of humanity. It's just, like,
love it.
to fight. So, yeah. So, visually, yes.
Now,
dreams and stuff.
When you talk about visually, is there a particular movie that is, like, kind of a go-to for you, where when you need to be inspired, or it just hits as you're exploring different pieces of art?
Well, you'll notice, like, in my songs, like, I can't stick to one genre. Like, if I watch the same movie over and over and over again, I'll go crazy. Like, I can't. It's never one movie. It has to be, like, so many movies.
That's awesome.
I'm movie buff.
I'm like the complete opposite. I'll, like, watch the same movie 17 times.
Really?
I'll listen to the same album, like, I don't know how many times. So, like, it's funny. I just
Soak
dive
it in.
into it.
That makes sense.
What's the most recent movie for you that's inspired you?
What's the most recent one? It was a Spanish movie. It was called The Skin I Live In. And it took a really cool turn. Like, it's a horror movie.
Okay.
But it's not like your
I
typical
love
blood, guts and stuff like that. Do you like blood and guts?
Yeah, I like blood and guts, or the psychological side. I'm kind of equal opportunity when it comes to...
It's definitely psychological.
Okay.
And it has this really cool kind of, like, new age kind of thing. I don't even think it's a new movie. I think it's, like, from 2015 or something. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on anything.
They'll put in the comments. They're like, it was 2012.
Yeah. 2034. This is future.
That's what I have to check that out though.
It's good. The Skin I Live In is, I think, what it's called. It's got a crazy twist, but you have to be open to the twist.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit
I have to put
controversial, but I loved it. I thought it was a really good film like that.
Now, for you in your writing, what kind of, like, was there a core moment for you where you were like, no, I am a writer. Like, this is what I'm meant to do, or has it been kind of a journey for you?
It's literally a journey. Like, that's what it is. Like, you start in a position where you're singing at, like, where you're just doing dishes and you're singing. That's where you start. And you're just singing random stuff. Yeah. You know, you got the radio playing, you're making up words or singing to it and stuff like that when the music just keeps playing and the song stops or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, it's definitely a journey. If I can elaborate on that a little bit.
Go for it.
The journey itself takes turns and it definitely does its thing. It's never a narrow road. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like a lot of things that inspired me as a musician to write, because I didn't start off as a writer, I started off as a musician.
Just playing, were you backing other people
at the time? No, this is when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
This is like
how you got started in music.
I've never played in a band where I was just like an instrumentalist.
Gotcha.
Which I feel like I'm kind of missing out on, because I feel like y'all got, like, you know, as a drummer or as a guitarist, you know, or a singer without an instrument, I feel like you have so much more freedom.
The times I've been just like a backing guitar for somebody has been so fun.
Hey,
because usually I'm worried about the words.
Exactly.
Where you just shred, like, well, not shredding, I don't shred, but when I'm playing riffs or whatever.
Yeah.
So no, it's super freeing. But.
It is freeing. So I think what got me from playing instruments to writing actual songs was because it just led me there. Like, the music kind of took its own life and almost like a mother figure or father figure, and just kind of led me to the art of writing lyrics and stuff, how I reflected my world.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Would you mind sharing with us where you've seen art or music impact somebody else? Any stories that pop out to you?
Well, you did send me the questions, and that was probably the hardest one. But I'm not going to say anything I've said, like, in the past to myself of what I'd say. I really want to jump into that because I feel inspired to say something about that. I feel like it impacts everybody. Yeah. Like, art's everywhere. Like, look behind us.
I know. Like, when they said there's going to be an awesome piece of art behind us, they weren't lying. I really love that.
And you could take all of this away, and there's a city. Yeah. You know, and that's an awesome piece of art too. And that's going to completely inspire you to do whatever you do too. So if your answer that you know, your question, I feel like everything inspires everybody. Like, I feel like that's just the way it is.
It's interesting.
So yes, I have seen it.
I think it's interesting you say that. As we were walking here, like, where the district we're in, like this crossroads kind of vibe. Yeah. I was telling Steven
it is a vibe.
That the alleyway, there was like graffiti on the alleyway. Yeah. And just the way everything lined up, the symmetry of the alley mixed with the way the shadow was hitting the graffiti. Yeah. I stopped. I literally was like, huh.
Transfixed.
Look at that. Yeah. It's just like right there.
Exactly.
And so I dig that, man. You can find that kind of art wherever you're at.
You do visually, like, people too, like the way, you know, they dress. Yeah. Like, that's artistically inspired by, you know, somebody that built the clothes. Their ideas started off a piece of paper and kind of went on with somebody's being.
Absolutely.
You know, I think Bowie actually did that a lot. Like, he was actually a masterpiece of people's art. Yeah. Is what he did.
You see, like, all the iconic photos of him. And I don't think it was Bowie, though, where they talked about fashion was always, like, pushing it as all the way to the end, all the way to the edge, to where it's like a thin line between looking absolutely ridiculous and inspiring. And so they are always trying to push that edge of fashion and figure out where that line was. And sometimes they stepped over it, and sometimes it just was that inspiring thing. So,
like, the line becomes invisible, just like blurred.
That's true.
It's just like, ridiculous is cool.
Well, thank you for hanging out with us. And why don't you let our folks know where they can find your music and get in contact with you?
Well, you can go on www. Whatever it is .ivoryblackmusic.com, and you can totally see everything I do. And I am definitely present on Twitter, all over the place on Twitter. And I talk to people randomly, so if you want to say hi, just say hi.
That's
and
awesome.
I'll say something stupid.
That's what Twitter's for.
That's what Twitter's for. Is to get all these weird thoughts out of your brain and torture people with them.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for sharing. And you guys have fun and stay tuned for another episode of Art Can Change the World.